No, no, no! The capitalist is riveted to profit and nothing can tear him away from it. This is the reason.
Really? Again? Everything's just a matter of economic determinism to you?
And what else should it be? The class struggle is the driving force behind all of history. This cannot be disputed.
It's just I think that individual motivation and representation can contribute as much to the stream of history as the disposition of a society toward how it deals with wealth and resources.
Those who are prepared to reconstruct the world will of course never be found among the ranks of those who faithfully serve the cause of profit. This is a matter of principle, vision, and selfless dedication. A gift for all the future.
Is that
what about Henry Ford and Stan Lee and Mrs. Rocket?
Can somebody please answer the... Mrs. Rocket?
She made the rockets?
Under capitalism, all innovation is devoured by the insatiable, voracious hunger of capital. And this is why after all these centuries, this is why we still do not have jetpacks.
Amber, StalinBot, Nels Beans. How many times do we have to have this conversation? We're never going to have jetpacks. We are never going to have jetpacks. Let's move on. PoliceBot, please answer that line.
Fairgrounds control, what?
Hello? Is this Fairgrounds control?
That is why I said Fairgrounds control. What?
StalinBot, take a less surly tone with the tourists, please.
Surly? Who is surly? I am businesslike. Must I pretend it fills me with joy to be speaking to this idiot Lucille?
Yes, you must. Just because you're built to look like a Russian doesn't mean you get to adopt their traditional attitude towards customer service. You're representing the Fairgrounds here. Acting like this isn't the worst place in the galaxy is an occupational requirement.
Fairgrounds control. Request docking assignment, please. This is LHS Totally Legit Free Cargo Freighter out of Skate Park Depot. Is there a problem?
I don't care. Pick empty spot, go to empty spot.
StalinBot, we have traffic protocols.
You're one of those history bots, aren't you? This is why I love coming out here, Mang. These boffers are flying cautious.
Fine. LHS totally legit. Heave 2 on Pure 3 and make fast.
Pure 3. Copy that. Pure is the one that looks like a C with a fold at the ends, right? Got it. Also, heads up control, we have a crate on board addressed to Fairgrounds Command. Where do you want us to drop that?
What is that to me? Do what you want. I'm taking break.
LHS totally legit. This is Commander Torianna. What's this crate?
Some ICSB clerks brought it on board while we were clearing lading on our end. Said it was for express delivery. It's marked courier on the outside.
It's marked in courier?
No, it's not in courier. It's marked courier. I think it's in Bookman.
That's not Bookman. I think it's Garamond.
You might be right. It's a classic serif face. Moderate stroke contrast. Very legible. Isn't Garamond a little swaggier?
Yeah, maybe it is. I'm not sure now.
Totally legit. Is the box hot sealed?
Yes.
Is it sealed right now?
Mostly. It's closed anyway.
I see. Well, leave it in the docking area, please. I'm sending someone down to fetch it.
I know I'm not going to fetch it.
You certainly are fetching it, scene, StalinBot. You wanted a break from the comms desk? Well, here it is. Get up to Pyorth, swaddle that crate in your discontented Soviet soul, and bring it straight back here. Carefully. Thank you, totally legit. We're sending a crew bot to pick it up as soon as you're secure. And welcome to the Fairgrounds.
Paddock. Thanks. Over and out.
Globe capitalist.
Gemini Collision Works presents Life with Althaar, Episode 10, Our Man in the Fairgrounds.
Just hit the docks in PR3 and called me on the way in. I figured you'd want to know, but you didn't hear it from me, right? I got mouths to protect.
My lips are sealed.
Lips? You.
Hey, you got your mouths and I got mine. Isn't evolution a beautiful thing?
Wouldn't know. We Mixolydians were life-seeded by an ancient and mysterious progenitor race who abandoned the known galaxy, leaving nothing behind but a few enigmatic ruins. And us, of course, their hapless spawn, cast adrift to grope our own haphazard way through existence with only a vague, cobbled-together concept of our purpose in this cold and unfeeling universe.
Huh.
Pretty standard deal, really.
Sure. Well, anyway, I appreciate the heads up. Here's a chip. You drink free this cycle, on a house.
Oh, yeah? Thanks, Cooter. Much obliged.
Sure, Could you not call me that? It's, Never mind, skip it. And hey, nothing from the aquarium. I can't discount that stuff.
Nerds.
You'll do fine. Hey, I'm gonna call you Pointy. Sopon! Pointy here has a chip. It's up and up.
No sombrero.
I know, right? Hey, D, you have a second? You and Xtopps, let's talk for a minute if you're free.
Do I have a second, Chip? Let me check my ephemeris. Oh, you're in luck. I still have 8 years on my frilling contract. Unless you're ready to clean me some slate.
Great, come over here, you two. Always a comedian. Step into the office. Xtopps, you on the way to Spry right now? If you can ride a clear line, I've got a private treat. New top shelf peanut sampler, a snack hitter of Goo Goo Tennessee Original Cluster Roast. Oiled in Nashville in a remake of the original Vats. But if you're wrecked, there's no point.
I'm the flip side of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Lay some sugar on me.
Okay, but try to savor this. Don't just snorf it, it's a nibbling nut.
Man, yes. How about one for each hand? Cause a nut in my hand is
No, censored with an R.
I got more hands than you need and plenty of happy nuts to feed.
He's pretty pixelated, isn't he?
You gotta ask.
Well, here's one. Keep the dragons at bay. Can I get you something, D?
From the aquarium?
Let's not get crazy.
I hear you, but we're never gonna survive unless we get a little paisley. Admission is easy. Just say we Brian. I got a lifetime lease. Lease me. Oh yeah, I like pea soup. By which I mean, thanks, man. Please, can I have some more?
Throttle back those jets, Palomino.
How does he keep it up? Every time I talk to him, he's got the pedal floored in the center lane. He leaves me in the dust with all that.
You know, Job, I can hear you. I'm right here.
My theory is that you need a busy brain to keep 28 limbs on deck. It makes him one hell of a backing band, though. Sometimes I wonder if his peanut butter junkie monkey smashes him up, or if that's the only thing keeping all his wheels on the road. I mean, you saw what his folks were like. Higher strung than the flying Zendozans in their amazing orbital tightrope. Anyway, Chip, what did you want to talk about? It can't be good, or we'd be shooting this shit in the bar.
Still right here. Let me check. Yup. Right here. Oh, wow.
So, yeah, wait. Do I only talk bad news in the office? What a giveaway. I better work on that. But yeah, I just got some fresh dish. It's not general yet, so we're ahead of the curve, which is good, but we need to tweak your set lists a little.
Since when do you interfere with our set list, Chip?
Since the stopper turned transparent, Mabes.
Sorry, folks, but this hot tip means we gotta get cool, fast. Your act, my act, our act, pretty much all scenes here at the Egg need a serious scrub down. It's not just you. But let's start with the set list, because that's at least simple.
Not that simple. Remember the Mebsudans?
And that's exactly the kind of thing we're not going to be mentioning this week, yeah?
Okay, what has got you so spooked here, Chip? You're starting to nerve me out.
I just heard there's an ICSB inspector coming to the fairgrounds for a general compliance review, and that means they'll be taking real close looks at everything. If I know inspectors, they'll mostly turn their lights on all the stuff we like dark, and I do know inspectors. Hold on. What's going on out there?
Yeah, the seltzer machine's doing the thing again.
See? This is the kind of nonsense we can't be having right now. No matter how you slice it, there's no way that thing is ICSB compliant. You know the drill, Sopon. Give them a call at WSS and get someone down here before that compressor gets us all killed. And is there a way to undo that WSS software update? Can we disable it, or, I don't know, put tape over the sensor or something?
I mean, we could, but that'll violate the terms of service, so that it's sayonara seltzer. You're only allowed to call in repair orders through the WSS app now. Oh, damn it! This is like one of those things that you say the thing 3 times into the mirror and it haunts you for the rest of your tragically truncated life.
Attention all fairgrounds staff and motile life forms. This is your recreation director bot. There are a number of exciting and educational activities taking place today on the Human Exchange Concourse. Please be advised that many of these events are celebrations and appreciations of local and interstellar culture as required by the ICSB Cohabitation Code. So they will be held daily until someone shows up to celebrate and appreciate them. Hands across the fairgrounds will take place during second cycle. Please gather at the smaller than expected Stone of Translation Errors Memorial in the Plaza of Regrets to participate in Hands Across the Fairgrounds. At least 3 non-aggregate life forms must be present to launch the event. Protective gear will be available free of charge to ensure the safety of all participants. Hands are optional, but very much appreciated. Also, I am informed by maintenance that they have yet to locate the source of the recent glitches in the announcement system. Until this malfunction is tracked to its fetid electronic layer, please disregard any announcements which may seem weird. This announcement has not been weird.
It is a great delight to Althaar to be relaxing in this approximation of Earth nature, even while concealed within this large container of cardboard. Althaar is imagining fresh breezes on his ventral furrows. The cardboard is causing some discomfort in Althaar's flexitors, but Althaar is doing his best to ignore this. Althaar thinks he must coat his flexitors in a soothing lanthanide unguent when he emerges. Friend John would perhaps say that this is too much information. Althaar is sometimes struggling to determine the appropriate amount of information for humans. Althaar is always pleased to be receiving information.
Well, who isn't? But you're right, dear. The park is particularly pleasant this morning. And there isn't any rain scheduled until later, so you can use the box another day if you don't get it wet. I'd love to stretch my stalks. When I'm in charge, we'll have plenty of days like this. Yeah, if I were in charge. Yes, it's a lovely day, all right. I'm so glad you were free to enjoy a snack in the simulated sunshine with me. You look quite dashing in your disguise.
Mrs. Frondrinax is very kind.
And today's particularly special because it's the holiday of morning root. Of course, it's our best holiday, so we celebrate it quite often. I'm so flowery that you could share it with me.
Althaar does not know of this custom, Mrs. Frondrinax. What is the morning root?
Oh, morning root is very important. It's when we commemorate our blooming and liberation as masters of Fulgulnar and beyond. And of course, we thank and praise the boxers. It all comes from the boxes when you get down to it. That's why it's sometimes called Boxing Morning.
Ah, is this why Mrs. Frondrinax today suggested that Althaar wear the box of disguise? It is in service of the boxing morning?
Not really, dear. I just thought it would help you to get out for a bit without having to listen to all that screaming that humans usually do when you're around. But boxes are very important to us Fulgulnari. It was boxing morning when we first came out of the yards and into the world. We were aware before that day, of course, but everything was a bit hazy, as if we were dim and dormant and sessile, which maybe we were. I think we just weren't ready to step out yet.
And what is the source of these boxes, Mrs. Frondrinax?
Why, the gardeners, of course. We never met them after their work tending us was done, but we found their buildings and roads and the wonderful piles of tasty, rich, meaty fertilizer they left behind. And most importantly, the nutrient boxes. A bit cramped, but they sure did do the job. Some of us believe the gardeners will return one day to guide us, but we've never seen a hint of them. So we make do with the messages they left us.
Oh, what are these messages saying, please?
Now with extra improved vim. Upgrade your plant feeds today. The miracle of green in every home. Our sacred gospels. The gardeners worshipped us with great devotion and cared for us above all others, which is how it should work with one's gods, I always think. It's odd how many cultures get that wrong.
So, the box of disguise is worn to return honor to the gardeners?
Well, we don't usually wear boxes for morning root, but there's no rule that says you can't. It's our holiday, we can celebrate it however we like. And I think boxes are quite festive.
Then Althaar is pleased to participate from within the box of disguise. Althaar had never considered the masquerade in the form of a nitrogen-fixing coolant processor, but the box does seem to be making success in preventing the expulsion of fluids from humans in the park of hydroponics. So, Althaar is being the best coolant processor he can be.
Oh, that's a very good imitation of a nitrogen fixer. I'm sure no one would guess there's an Torian in there. Oh, my goodness.
Althaar is very grateful for the advice of Mrs. Frondrinax. It is not a thing of Iltar to make the disguise, so Althaar would never have been conceiving of it himself. Mrs. Frondrinax is certain that this form of deception is considered acceptable among humans, yes?
Oh, for Pete Moss' sake! For the last time, Althaar, wearing a disguise isn't the same thing as lying. It's fun! Anyway, I don't know why you're so worried about lying to humans. They do it all the time. I would think you'd have noticed that by now.
Oh, no, Mrs. Frondrinax! Althaar does not believe his dear human friends would make lies.
Oh, you don't think so? Just you wait until that ICSB inspector gets here, and you'll see just how dishonest humans can be. Every last one of them is going to be scrambling to cover up whatever root rot they've got going on before it turns into collar crack. You can take it from me.
An inspector is coming? Althaar was not informed of this.
Well, it wouldn't be much of a surprise inspection if they told people about it first, would it? They may be here already. The new inspectors, you know, the secret ones they send out these days. They're hard-boiled and loaded for my knock. They can destroy whole space stations with a single word. And they absolutely can't be reasoned with, so I would imagine most people would be deported. Or killed. They'll probably sleep mode most of the robots, too. Oh, look at that one.
If I had a jetpack, no walking, no transit tubes, No wasting the time. Oh, Comrade StalinBot, there's a box for us at Pair 3. Of course, Commander. Let me put on my jetpack. I'll be back before you know I've gone. Comrade StalinBot, are you back already? Let us celebrate with some mitzvah shushli and a glass of kvass. Za vaše zdrovia. But no.
I bet he'll have plenty to say to the inspector before he's shut down or destroyed.
Why would the inspector be angry, Mrs. Frondrinax? The purpose of ICSB regulation is to ensure the safety and happiness of all member beings. To assist other beings in making compliance with these is a gesture of great friendship.
Oh, Althaar, you sweet summer bud. Inspectors are always angry. That's how they're chosen. That's what I've heard on the grapevine, anyway. Not from the grapevine, mind you. Those fictitious snobs will never give me the time of day. And I've never been anything but polite to them. Oh, some people. But no, this inspector won't be here to make friends. When an inspector shows up, you can be sure they've come to settle everyone's mulch. They'll probably start at the electric egg if they know their business. Leaf, limb, and xylem tubal. Who knows what they'll find in there? That place is a greenhouse of depravity, Althaar, serving their filthy alcohol. Do you know where it comes from? The humans breed it in mangled plants. It's simply grotesque. Also quite tasty, though, so one must pick one's battles. And Chip is a dear, even if he is an enemy of the future.
But Althaar has enjoyed many happy visits to the electric egg with Mrs. Frondrinax. And Mrs. Frondrinax was with the bullet star at the night of open mic. With your public ridicule.
Stand-up comedy, dear. Stand-up comedy. Public ridicule has consequences. Stand-up comedy, for better or worse, does not. But it's an awful place, mostly. Shouldn't be allowed. Mostly. And you should make sure your roommate John doesn't drink any of that liquor stuff. It's poison, you know. He could get very sick.
Althaar believes the humans are aware of this, as they are asking, what is your poison, when it is served? But then they are drinking it anyway. It is another human mystery.
No common sense at all, really.
Mrs. Frondrinax, Althaar regrets to say he has consumed the earth brandy. Althaar has also horked the earth brandy. It tasted the same in both directions.
Well, I forgive you, dear. I'm sure that was John's bad influence.
Oh, no, Friend John's influence was of great goodness. He was attempting to apply traditional human under-weather remedies to Althaar. It is not the fault of Friend John that they did not have the desired effect. Mrs. Frondrinax, Althaar has confusion. Did you not participate in the preparation of alcohols in the electric egg during the last strike of the Robot Union?
Well, yes, of course, but that was different. I had some thought experiments that needed testing in real-world conditions, and I learned quite a lot as it happens. You know, Althaar, since it's morning root, there's a story we'd like to tell to beds of sprouts when they first pull their roots out of the communal sorting share.
5 Bs, 5 credits. Everything on the table, 5 Bs. If I get it, you can see it, you can buy it for 5 Bs.
5 beans for everything?
Like the sign says, plus 5, far as the eye can see. 5 each, not 5 for everything, but 5 apiece, and everything is 5.
5. Wow, that's 5. Anything on the table is 5?
Anything on the table, 5 Bs.
How much is this one?
That one?
Yes, this one.
10 Bs.
I'll take it.
Top of the shift to you, John B. How'd it go at the egg?
Fine. You know, seltzer machine wired to the life support coolant regulators, loose connection that needs to be popped back into place every couple weeks so we don't all die pointless deaths, the usual. I still wish we could just do a bypass on the coolant circuit so we could downgrade the problem from lethal to annoyingly persistent.
I can't believe you're still talking about that circuit bypass thing. You know we can't do that. We'd have to throw the infrastructure style book right out the airlock. You know this, but you're still talking about it. You're like a psychology experiment.
Sorry, I guess the Fairgrounds hasn't completely broken my spirit yet.
Give it time. Here, this'll help. Even if you got the go-ahead from the committee, messing around with a bypass would put you on 10-gauge, 8-gauge wire junctures. So there's no way the robot union lets us touch a job like that. Not today, not tomorrow, not over the weekend coming up when I'm probably going to have to ask you to put in a couple of extra shifts.
You just slipped that right in there. Very smooth.
I thought so.
Anyway, yeah, I know. That seltzer machine's just gonna keep on keeping on, except for when it doesn't. Besides, the coolant management panel's up on the bridge, and I've been trying to stay away from the commander as much as I can, just in case she's come up with some other ridiculous thing that's somehow my problem. Also, I think the bridge robo-mechanic still hates me. Whenever I'm down there, he looks at me with those baleful, murderous, unblinking eyes.
Nah, those are just his eyes. All the tech bots have their blink cycles suspended so they don't miss anything. Unless you got an official notice of grudge holding from the union, I wouldn't worry about it. Speaking of bots, I got called over to hydroponics on a micro-fissured flow distributor earlier today. I said it was out of our jurisdiction, but the robot steward wouldn't let their plumbing teams even look at it.
They won't fix a faulty distributor node? Why not?
Beverage dispenser.
Beverage dispenser? Oh wait, is this another pineapple juice leak? I thought they finally got that system drained out.
Nope. Tomatoes.
What? There are tomato sauce pipes too? Please tell me you're kidding.
No pipes. But the whole pineapple thing got the bots' processors stuttering, and they started taking a second look at anything that could possibly be drink-related, which led them to the tomatoes. Now they're in talks with management, claiming that tomatoes are... wait, I have it here. Nascent static beverage dispensing tap modules. Until the collective bargaining is done, the union is taking a no-touch position.
Oh, come on. Tomatoes are vegetables, or fruits, I guess, but they're definitely not drink machines. Are we even equipped to fix a distributor node?
Nope.
And why just tomatoes? Surely they know about oranges, or apples, or schnozberries.
Maybe they just don't like tomato juice. I can see it. You know how you have tomato juice in a bottle and there's that awful red lumpy scum sticking to the glass, and later you forget it's in the fridge and you open the door to get a nice Calatonian clam knob or some leftover pie, and there it is. The dinner is ruined because I know I'm not hungry after I see a crusty half-cake moist tomato pus stuck to glass. Probably like that.
So, not a fan of tomato juice?
Not as such. Anyway, temporarily we're keeping an eye on hydroponics from here at WSS. Oh, spit me out from the mouth of Meshy! Wish we could undo that last software update on these things.
If we pop the covers off, I might be able to...
Kid, they'll know. Any unauthorized access of WSS property and the thing files an alert on the local node, then bricks itself. So you'll be on the hook for a replacement, not to mention the fine for abuse of WSS equipment and whatever else they can think of to charge you for. You'd be hocking your grandkids' parts to organ leggers to pay off the fees by the time they'd get done with you. We'll just have to avoid the W word as much as we can.
Maybe we should come up with a code phrase we can say instead, like our magnanimous overlords.
You want to get docked again for unsanctioned sarcasm? Let's just stick with the W word. Probably we'll get another memo in a couple of weeks saying they'll charge us a branding avoidance fee. But that's a problem for future us.
Right. So, anything on the schedule today? Wow, HF, this is a lot of calls for a Tuesday. I'm already booked solid, assuming we don't get any emergencies. What's your day like?
Yeah, well, that hydroponics call. I bruised my, kid. My ribs are just like glass these days. Gotta take special care when they're feeling fragile.
Glass ribs. Yeah, I've heard about that. Is there a good ribologist on the fairgrounds? Or will you be home treating that with riboflavin, maybe? Or a nice Kansas City dry vapor rub? You should get your vision tested, too, in case it turns out to be a ribeye thing. High stakes, you know?
Ha, rev it up, B.
Just teasing a little, HF. There's nothing I can't handle, and besides, it's nice to feel useful every once in a while. But this many calls in a day is pretty weird.
Yeah. Okay, listen. I'm not the one who's telling you this, but I've been hearing there's a secret inspector coming in from the ICSB, And apparently they can shut this whole place down if we aren't in full interstellar compliance, from Kefir to Malkuth and Aleph to Tav. Maybe even scuttle the place, which seems a little far-fetched to me, but who knows? So we're getting calls from anybody who might not be up to ICSB code, and on the Fairgrounds, that's everybody. They're all scrambling to make sure they got their Venusian webfoots in a row. One thing in sustainment systems, how may we reduce entropy in your immediate vicinity? Foam? Is it supposed to do that?
This is Amber on the bridge, please hold. This is Amber on the bridge. Thank you for holding. Hello? They disconnected?
Their loss. Say, Amber, is there something going on? Something that the commanding officer of a busy, if underutilized space facility really ought to know about? Because if there is, it would be nice if the commander's staff would tell the commander so she could be in on it too. I've had this feeling all shift that something's off, and Frall hasn't even been in the room. So, Amber?
I don't know.
Asking or telling, Amber? We've talked about this.
Telling?
All right. Please do let me know if you hear something.
Commander, may I speak freely about one of the bridge crew?
Is it StalinBot? I know he can be a bit irritable, but that's hardly unusual for the bots around here. I'd strongly advise you not to start any more political discussions with him.
Yes, sir. There might be something really wrong with him. I know he was designed for the Pageant of Tyranny exhibit, but maybe IT could adjust his personality now that he's working in a visitor-facing position? He's so mean.
Actually, he's the least unpleasant one we could have ended up with. Most of the Tyrant bots are so eccentric they're completely useless.
Sherlock Holmes bot has a menu. You can pick from different versions of Sherlock Holmes if you don't like the one he's doing when you talk to him. I'm just saying.
Because he's one of the fiction bots, Amber. Most of the Historabots weren't programmed with those options, unless they represented someone particularly controversial. No, I'm afraid we're stuck with StalinBot's winning personality as is. Besides, all he can do on comms is cause traffic problems. Would you rather he was working life support? And he's almost back, so let's change the subject.
He's coming back? How do you know?
Tiny, stealthy tracking chips on a tiny, stealthy frequency. When you have a crazy cat, you bell the crazy cat.
I'm not a cat person?
Crazy Kazinti, then. Oh, welcome back, StalinBot. Did you enjoy your break?
Thoroughly, sir. I had plenty of time to reflect on how much less time I would have had to waste reflecting on how much time I had to reflect if only I were traveling by jetpack.
Well, next time you should take a hoverboard. There's a pickup station right outside the bridge. You can always pretend you're rolling off to the nearest collective farm. Is that my delivery? Good. Let's have it. And then you can resume your station, please.
Hoverboard does not even hover. Typical capitalist fraud.
To the attention of Commander Torianna with only one N? You'd think they'd know how to spell it by now. Still, it must be important. They've written it on paper. Oh, by Simone's toe beans. The ICSB
Commander,
is sending an
about
inspector.
The inspector?
Amber!
Commander?
Am I shedding coolant in my oxygen supply, or did we just talk about this?
Asking or telling?
Both.
I didn't know if it was important. My sister heard something about it.
I am the commanding officer of the... All right. How did your sister... All right. Amber, your sister, where is she working now? Hydroponics. Still in hydroponics? Get her on the line, please.
Hi, this is Ashley in hydroponics.
Dang, dude, your sister is hot. Is she single?
When class consciousness fails, Not a pretty.
Get out of your house and get in at ours. Art in Public presents a public theater performance. When staying at home is not enough, see theater the way theater is meant to be seen, with an audience and in the flesh, but not in a pervy way. You've had it streamed and cast, jacked up and phoned in. Now join your fellow Fairground spacefarers in a real room, with actors right in front of you on a stage. Come out for the concourse premiere of The Nine Are Abroad, based on the works of famed author of classical Dead Tree books, J.R.R. Tolkien. Starring, for a limited run only, everyone's favorite nonette, the Supreme Court Justice spots as the Dark Lord's black writing ring rings. Featuring a guest vocal appearance by Brittany 666, singing her Galaxy-class hit, It's Always Night on Weathertop. Art in Public is a real-life experience. There is no talking during the performance. Please do not attempt to offer advice or assistance to the cast or crew while the show is in progress, even if you don't intend to charge for your services. Please do not utilize strobe lights, gunshots, or loud noises during the performance. These are reserved for use by the production staff. Please be considerate of adjacent life forms. Please do not wear strong scents or large hats. Species with flatulence rated Class 4 or above must furnish their own containment devices. Species with extremely crinkly skin may not be admitted.
Please enjoy your stay at the Human Exchange Concourse and share in the many wonders humanity has to offer. Next!
Hello, I didn't see a priority bypass lane. Where was...
That is because there is no such thing at Fairgrounds Customs. All entering sapiens must register. No exceptions are permitted.
Really? All right then. I have my ICSB credentials here.
League of Humans official entry papers should have been issued to you before your departure from your port of origin, sir. These are required for entry.
Well, that's adorable, but no, really, this pass is valid everywhere. Let me just activate it, and... Oh, no, hold on. English. There we go.
The bearer of this pass is entitled to swift and unobstructed entry at all ICSB member planets and stations. Any attempt to interfere with the free movement of the bearer of this pass will be considered a violation of ICSB Cohabitation Code 3821 Schmelk 3. Thank you for your cooperation, and have an enlightening wakefulness cycle.
And there's the holoseal there, see? So, really, I will have to insist that you let me through.
Very well. Is this all your luggage, sir?
Yes, I prefer to travel light. I can generally requisition anything I may have need of locally.
If you say so, sir. Name?
Ben. Ben Richard Potato.
Ben for Benjamin?
Benevolent. Ben for benevolent.
Species?
Human.
You're not coming up in the system, sir. What ship did you say you arrived on?
Well, actually, I came in as a non-manifest passenger, so I won't be in any ship's registry. As I said... Wait,
A stowaway! We have ways of dealing with miscreants like you, Mr. Potato.
Aha! Listen, this has been fun, but I really do have to be getting to work. I think if you just scan my pass, it should clear a few things up for you, yes?
What could be on this past that would possibly... Oh.
There you go.
You're an inspector.
That I am. Flagged as no customs registration, I'll hazard to guess.
Yes, sir. May I carry your luggage, sir?
Don't have any, thanks.
Of course you don't. Yes, we already did that part. Hypothetically, Herr Inspector, sir, had you brought luggage, might I have helped you to carry it? Because I certainly would assist if asked. I am very helpful.
No, please, don't put yourself out. I want everyone here to just go about business as usual. Helps me get the feel of a place, you know. All I need from you right now is your signature and registration mark on this non-adherence to travel protocol citation. You are my first logged violation here on the Fairgrounds. How about that?
Yes, sir. It is an honor of sorts.
Very good. And initial here, please. Well, that sounds interesting, doesn't it? What's that about? Do you know?
Yes, Scene Inspector. That is the Central Office for Customs and Arrivals Administrative Staff. The room is equipped with a League-mandated power-saving circuit that shuts off the lights and ventilation service when it is unoccupied. Very efficient.
I was more referring to the frantic shrieking, my good bot.
Well, the sensors for the power-saving circuit are somewhat less sensitive than they might be, which very occasionally leads the system to mistakenly classify the room as unoccupied and extinguish the lighting and life support until the occupants activate the sensors. But once everyone screams and waves their appendages about for a bit, it's all right as rum tough. Perhaps I could scrounge up some bags for you and then carry them as a demonstration of my helpfulness? Or I could give you a horsey ride?
Maybe later, thanks. I'm just going to pay a quick visit to your friends, flailing around in the dark over there. Hello? Hello? Yes? ICSB Inspector Potato. But call me Tater. What exactly goes on here now?
Cargo ship called Totally Legit. He called me, I thought he might, because we had such an awesome time. I guess he was just showing off, because he let me know there was an inspector coming, and he told me not to tell anyone. So I told Amber right away.
Wait, this is the one from that time at the Sammy's Witches? He was so nice. I really liked him.
Did you? Did you really?
Yes. Oh, I'm so glad that worked out. Anyway, the commander wanted to know how you heard about it. So that's how that happened?
Yes! I should get back to the job, though. Did you need anything else? Hello, Commander?
Yes, I'm right here, pardon me. I was just imagining what an interesting time your parents must have had of it.
What?
Never mind. But no, please, get back to the vats and sprinklers. Thank you for your absurdity. I mean assistance. Thank you for your assistance. Lieutenant Commander Frall, I'm glad you're finally... What is
going on?
Frall?
Howdy, partners. I'm a stranger in these parts. Can one of you good souls point me toward the canteen and the drive boss?
Remind me to mark this date on the calendar so we can make sure never to have any more of them in other years.
Is that a hat?
Is a Stetson. A Soviet design. Mastery and nobility condensed into a single, long, glorious sigh of millenary. Stolen, of course, by corrupt and debauched American colonial power to represent symbol of American politics. Cowboy.
Are they wearing it or just holding it there? Or is there a difference?
It is a hat, sir. Traditionally worn atop the head. I've settled on the nearest approximate portion of my physical manifestation in this timeline as a suitable location in which to display it. I reckon y'all must be the cow boss of this here operation. I'm looking for work as a hired gun.
Lieutenant, I'm not sure what's going on, but I'd really like it to stop going on. Can someone who's not critically needed on the bridge right now run up to Tixondu's and grab me a macchiato, please? Not a suggestion. Me?
That shouldn't be necessary, Commander. The espresso machine on the bridge is atypically functional at the moment. John B. attended to it during a recent preventative visit to check on the status of a number of very small wires, that number being 22. He missed one, but that oversight won't be pertinent for quite some time.
Amber, you can cancel that. She's gone. I like Tixondu's better anyway. They draw those cute little stellar devourers in the foam. So, do we have you back then, Frall? The energy cloud without a name has returned to the wild western spiral arm without firing a single shot?
Yes, Commander. I've suspended the cow-hand persona for the nonce. I am a bit curious, though, sir. How did you know it was me?
How did I know it was you? How did I know it was you? It wasn't exactly difficult. You do tend to stand out.
Do I indeed?
You are not unlike a sore thumb, Frall.
Ah. Well, I wouldn't know about that, sir. I've never tried having thumbs.
Not actually necessary, Lieutenant. It's not actually necessary. You know, it fascinates me how a possibly omniscient energy being, capable of perceiving 27 dimensions and possessing nigh unlimited powers over space and time, can be so completely lacking in common sense.
It does take some skill, sir. It requires a great deal of effort for you humans to achieve the same effect in 4 dimensions, after all, and at higher strata, the process becomes geometrically more complex.
I'm not sure how to take that.
I know.
I know how to take that.
Thank you, StalinBot. That was also not actually necessary.
Commander, I have your...
Nevertheless, I am somewhat vertummeled by your swift appraisal of my identity. I altered several of my salient features, and provided visual distraction in the form of an extremely stylish hat. I had hoped that some enjoyable minutes of confusion and social chaos might ensue. To humorous effect.
Oh, you're trying your hand at comedy now.
I'm reliably informed that a certain degree of japery can, somewhat paradoxically, make for a more productive workplace by decreasing tension among most sentient species. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector?
What?
Oops.
Here, let me help you with that.
Litter detected. Do not litter. Attention, do not litter. Disposable waste has been detected in the corridor. If you are responsible, please retrieve your item and deposit it in an appropriate waste container.
Appropriate? You yelling?
Escalating. Please comply. Disposable waste has been
Now the wall speaker's escalating? Yeah. You don't got arms. What you gonna do about it, huh?
Appropriate waste container. Do not litter.
Well, it might call the secret ICSB inspector for one thing, you little scufflaw. Those inspectors can tap into all kinds of monitoring systems, you know. That's how they see everyone's code violations. And these secret inspectors, well, they just as soon scrub you from the time stream as charge you a fine. They are on deadlines, and I do mean deadlines, dear. Their training only allows for 2 considerations: keeping to their mission schedule and eliminating problems. Better hope this one's feeling generous when they find you. Otherwise, Zot.
Zot?
Zot, dearie. They have weapons we know nothing about. We can't even see their weapons, but they point one of those things at you and... Zot. Your grandparents never met. Your parents were never born. They never met, fell in love, and had a baby that they never taught how to use a trash can. And don't think you can run. Inspectors' images can't be recorded by security cameras because they're secret. They might as well be ghosts. They might as well be black eyes. So, watch your step.
What the hell are you...
Concerned citizen. I just hate the smell of street disintegrations on such a pleasant day.
Zot? For real, Zot?
Who would even know? Or care? People go missing on the Fairgrounds all the time. If anyone asks, they'd probably just say, Vent Fighter got you. Maybe they'll have you thrown to the Vent Fighters. It wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Oh, look, I must have dropped this. Silly me.
Thank you for not littering.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Yeah, sure. Bye.
Bye!
Do Do not litter. Attention, do not litter. Disposable waste has been detected in the corridor. If you are responsible, please retrieve your items and deposit them in an appropriate waste
Excuse me,
container.
what? I just shed a few leaves, that's all. That's not litter.
Escalating. Please comply. Disposable waste has been detected in the corridor. Please retrieve your items.
No good deed left unpunished.
Not stress this enough. You are not hearing this from me, okay? You are not hearing this from me. Because I don't know anything about ICSB inspectors. I just run a clean, healthy, happy establishment for patrons from all walks of life. And death. I see you, necrochargs. I don't know how you work, but I see you. So try to take any of your business out of my business for a little while. Anyone gets busted in here, don't look at me because I am definitely not sticking my neck out for any of it, okay? That's this bit here under my chin, and I like it the length it is. Okay, our monthly auditions are going on as usual. The list will be ready in a few minutes, so once you're signed up, be flush when your name is called. Yes, Vert, you know how it works. There are already some people ahead of you from last time. We'll get to you when we get to you, okay?
Yippee! I'm doing the sign-up list this time, right, Joe? Because I'm already listing a little to the left, so I could easily put it right.
Hang on, Xtopps. I got a couple things I need to straighten out with you first.
The dudes are dropped, man. Xtopps is straighter than a laser level on the imperturbian salt flats.
Yeah, I can tell. That's what's worrying me. Xtopps, you need any help with anything that needs to be moved? Or stashed? Or... you know what I'm saying. Just pop it in my office. Then for all the inspector knows, I'm just planning on making a lot of sandwiches, yeah?
Solid, man. Message received. 10 hands on Jones for your concern, and you know Jones loves a scritch from any hand that comes his way. You came in for a soft landing and stayed in your lane. Appreciate it. Hey, you got to hide your love away, which I did and done, which horror needed doing. Doing! And the way I like it is the way it is. I got mine, don't worry about his. Boop, boop, be-doop.
Xtopps, that was... I have no idea what that was. I really wish you were in a tighter orbit right now. I've got enough problems. Speaking of, that parchment you gave me when you made the egg your seat of governance, I ran it through the legalese translator, and it gave me a couple of ideas. So if anyone asks, you're asserting your sovereignty over everything in the place that's not clearly visible from the main dining room. Got that?
Well pinned and iced over, my proto-freaks.
I'll choose to take that as a yes. So that just leaves us without here to worry about, which means we really do need to talk about your set list.
Oh, man.
I know, but we have to get to it sometime, and it might as well be now. We got some real dust when you did roll away the stone that night the Plinthoid Charter was in.
Oh.
They sent me this giant tablet that says, "Stone don't roll." And they call it a living stone message. So until we can prove it's not sentient, I have to keep it in the back. Some of these tests for stone awareness, they take years. Years! Meantime, I'm stuck with this huge boulder in my storage room, and now the Gindarans won't even go in there because they say it's silently judging them, so now I have to run into the back myself every time we run out of paper towels.
Hey, Seton Xtopps?
Settle your gears, Vert.
And... oh, right. For now, I'm going to have to ask you to pull Blue Velvet if you see any Aqua Rovers in the house for the show. We've had some bookings from Splishy Splashy 7.
Splishy Splashy 7?
I don't name them. I just sell them seats or Aqua Rover parking slots. Anyway, the Splashies are this strain of surface-dwelling ocean carpet moths that extrudes a blue velvety mast to lure some sort of fatty food fish. They claim the song is giving away their trade secrets, and if the fish figure it out, the Splashies might starve.
Oh, come on, Chorp.
Hey,
I'm in Flotten Conference here, Vert. Strees!
Actually, the fish are sentient. They're just really, really laid back and haven't figured out their place on the food chain yet. So we have to honor the Splashies' claim. Sorry. Then there's... The Crimson Head avians of the Rubicon Belt and the Chazagrolan system are unhappy with Roxanne.
Roxanne?
Because they only see in the red spectrum, and the song causes them to shiver and quake with existential fear, quote unquote. Their near cousins, the Canitutor Vultures, think that Rock and Robin may violate the terms of their travel contracts with the ICSB.
Serious?
Which I can't check because they don't have a written language. In the translator module they want to sell us is... Well, we're not buying it. I think the whole thing is a scam, but we'd have to pay in to find out for sure. And... oh boy, there's more. There's a lot more. Basically, until we clear inspection, we just have to...
We just have to herf everything that's not an instrumental. Voider. You're the boss, Chorp, but you know this'll put the Vaunch on D triple time.
I know. I don't like it. No one likes it, but it's only until this inspector FOs, yeah? And hey, if I manage to qualify under the ICSB Species Exchange and Tolerance Initiative guidelines, we get a serious break on the annual music royalty nut for the year.
Speaking of nuts, you want I should do a little control-shift stash?
Sooner the better. Like I said, just leave it in my office. Bottom left desk drawer. And don't touch anything else in there, I'll know!
Hey, Mr. Xtopps. Mr. Xtopps? Where are you going? I still need to sign the list. I brought my own pen.
Blanche, Vert, don't crowd me! Oh, come on, man, don't cry. Oh, nerds.
Just Butterfingers? I thought you had a better hold on it.
It happens all the time. For some reason, I make people nervous.
Is that before or after you cite them for violating one of several million obscure ICSB regulations written by sentients completely unfamiliar with their species, let alone their situation?
Both, generally. An inspector's work is never done. Speaking of which, I made a brief review of the facilities and procedures in customs on my way here.
Yes, Commander. The inspector paid a visit to the broken room off the main customs intake area.
You mean the staff break room?
I do not.
Then what? Oh. The admin office. Yeah, we've had some trouble getting that system serviced, Inspector. The problem is that when the robo-mechanics show up, they trigger the EM sensors so the room activates normally, and then they claim there isn't any issue for them to fix. Of course, the problem is with the biometric sensors, but robots can be, well...
Yes, I've met robots.
On that note, the Fairgrounds' first logged violation was against Kaiser Wilhelmbot, which does seem fitting.
What was he cited for?
Being Kaiser Wilhelmbot.
The ICSB has a regulation against being Kaiser Wilhelmbot?
I am granted a certain degree of latitude in the execution of my duties, Commander, and I think most beings would find Kaiser Wilhelmbot's extreme himness to be worthy of censure, yes?
Well, I can't argue with that. But seriously...
Commander, if I may, status update on Fairgrounds docking and traffic control. LHS Totally Legit has completed unlading and has entered standard maintenance cycle. The vessel is booked for tentative departure 4 days from now, and berthing fees are settled on account. Activity among smaller ships is nominal and limited to standard traffic lanes, and all large liners and cargo haulers are secure. Request permission to launch standard custodial debris sweep of central lateral access zones using Throne Wing 4.
Yes, permission granted. Thank you for doing your job.
You have got to be kidding?
Aye, sir.
Even a stopped clock is right 5 times a day.
Twice a day, Frall.
If you like.
Well, excellent. Very nice. As you can see, Inspector, things here at Fairgrounds Control are running quite smoothly. Now, how can I help you? Naturally, all of our resources are at your disposal while you're here, but you don't need me to tell you that.
Yes, thank you. What I need just now is a moment to speak to you alone, away from the rest of your crew.
If you'll excuse me, Commander. Inspector, I've already been through this bit, so I'll withdraw. There's a personal project of mine that could use some attention. It was a pleasure to meet you at last. Scene Inspector.
At last?
Lieutenant Frall has an unsettling habit of saying things like that. I find it's best not to dwell on it. Any explanation you get out of them only ends up being more disturbing.
Well, I'll keep that in mind. Anyway, as I was saying, I really do need to speak with you in private. The station should be equipped with a secure diplomatic communications chamber, yes, as mandated by Cohabitation Code 173-2.
Oh. Of course we do, yes. It's just over, it doesn't see a lot of use, is the thing, Inspector, and it...
Please, just call me Mr. Potato, or Tater. No need to be formal. Ben Richard Tater. Pleased to meet you.
Ben, as in Benjamin? Lovely name. You don't hear it much these days.
Ben as in benevolent. None of those is my birth name, of course. We inspectors, we're required to leave behind any attachments to our civilian lives when we take up the sash. Now, the, chamber.
Of course. It's right through here. I apologize for the mess, Mr. Tater. It's just that, well, we don't get very many actual diplomats needing to use this thing, so it was just sitting here empty, and the maintenance bots got in the habit of dropping off their equipment in here to save themselves a trip, and it's hard enough to keep them happy at the best of times, so... No, Inspector, really, most of our rooms are fully functional, so you don't have to... Sweet Coco's teeth! Who knew that this was in here?
Well, I did, and anyone else with priority Wimbluth clearance, naturally. System secure and confirm.
Secured and confirming. Welcome, Agent.
Agent?
Yes, Commander, there is something I have to tell you in your complete confidence. I am not an inspector. Or rather, I am not only an inspector. I am also a duly commissioned surveillance and scrutiny agent working on critical assignment from the ICSB Office of Equilibrium, and I need your help.
What was that?
Your help. I said, I need your help.
No, what was that? I heard what you said. What was that?
Oh, you mean this? It's called a sting. It's not important. Implanted environmental control suite. It's pretty standard gear for field agents. See, I like the drama. Some people might overuse this sort of effect, sure, but I think the key is not to try and tell people what to feel, you know? What you want is an occasional accent to garnish or underscore important narrative moments. Here, this is what I mean. Check it out. I am also a duly commissioned surveillance and scrutiny agent, working on a critical assignment from the ICSB Office of Equilibrium, and I need your help. You see, it doesn't carry the same sense of urgency and import. It's a small thing, but when it's used correctly, it can be terribly effective.
Well, I'm glad to see the ICSB isn't spending the money from all those fines on anything frivolous. So what do you need from me, Agent Inspector?
Attention all Fairgrounds staff and motile life forms. This is the Recreation Director Bot. We have a traveler among us today. John Titor, you are far away from home. If you still need the electron injection manifold to fine-tune the traction of the singularity in your temporal machine assembly, you may pick one up from a supply drop in the engineering submodule in Sector Samek 56. Also, there is a secret inspector patrolling the station. We do not know if he is looking for you or just spreading terror, but he is heavily armed and very angry. Do not panic. There There is no need for anyone to panic. So far, the inspector has hardly shot down anyone in the street in cold blood with advanced military-grade weaponry. There is
Attention all Fairgrounds staff and life forms. This is your actual Recreation Director Bot. That announcement was weird. We told you there might be weird announcements, and that was one of them. Please disregard that message. Any time travelers who do find themselves in the unlikely position of existing on the Fairgrounds, please register with our designated temporal welcome officer, who this week is Assistant Pool Disinfection Specialist 3rd Class Nestor Schmeltz, currently on duty in the Yard 14 Natatorium. You will receive a news cycle briefing and a free orientation goodie bag. That is all.
Let me be sure I'm getting this. You are telling me that someone's been sending high bandwidth, undetectable, supraluminal transmissions from this station, beaming out into the depths of intersystem space to destinations unknown for over a year. These transmissions can't be traced or decoded, and you have been tasked here under the cover of a routine inspection visit to find the operative who sent the signals, using a secret computer system that's been hiding on my bridge since it was built, and I was only alerted to this an hour ago by a box from Skate Park Depot with my name spelled wrong?
Precisely. In my guise as an inspector, I have unquestioned access to all active parts of the station. Citizens, stay clear and leave me room to work for the most part, if only to avoid being cited. The ICSB welcomes the extra revenue and I get a commission. So there's really no downside.
Unless you live here.
Sorry? Oh, yes, I suppose, but who lives here really?
Who does? I ask myself this.
Beg pardon?
No, never mind. I guess I could assign Ensign Mondews to serve as your escort. She has great taste in off-world bourbons, which is not to say she would ever distill any on the station, or that they would be delicious. And she was a cartography major, if I recall correctly.
I'd prefer someone who wasn't an official member of your crew, Commander, to avoid the appearance of favoritism, and preferably someone who arrived on the Fairgrounds sometime after these transmissions began. With this sort of case, there's a high risk that the hostile operative or operatives will attempt to insert themselves into the investigation. And I can't rule out anyone as a suspect just yet.
Alert. Disturbance imminent. Be advised that my response systems have not been armed.
Response systems? Oh, Mr. Tater, I'll need to deal with this. The Fairgrounds, as you probably know, has been given the honor of hosting the only Torian in human space. And apparently he'll be joining us on the bridge shortly for some reason. Why don't you stay here? There's no need for you to risk catching sight of him.
Oh, that's very thoughtful of you, Commander, but I'm not exactly a run-of-the-mill human these days. My position with the Office of Equilibrium has given me access to the absolute top of the line in wetware upgrades. I'm sure I'll be fine.
Why do they never listen? Suit yourself. All right, Amber, we all know he's coming. You can kill the alarm.
Yes, sir?
WSS! Althaar requests permission to enter the bridge. Althaar is playing the happy WSS music to warn humans of his approaching. WSS!
All right, eyes down, everyone. You all know the procedure by now. We're all set, Althaar. You can come in.
It's funny, isn't it, that of all the places for me to first encounter an Eltorian, it should be when I'm back in human space?
Well, I think we've all learned a valuable lesson about hubris. Amber, you already put the cleaning bots on call, yes? Let them know their services will be needed, please. On the plus side, Inspector, this has brought to mind the perfect companion to send with you on your travels. Inspector? All right, then you just sit there facing the wall and... Are there any of those croissants left? Get one of those for the Inspector, please. Now, don't try to eat yet. Just enjoy the smell, okay? You should be fine in a few minutes. Hello, Althaar. Sorry to keep you waiting.
It is of no trouble to Althaar, but Althaar is most repentant for causing expulsion of fluids from the guest of the commander.
Not your fault, Althaar. We all tried to warn him.
Yes, the human crew of the bridge is already knowing the boring device.
Oh, the drill, Althaar.
Ah, yes, the drill. Thanking you, Commander.
Feeling better? Oh, good. Althaar, may I introduce Inspector Ben Potato?
Oh, Althaar was given presentiment of the visit of the Inspector, but a human Inspector is of much surprise. This is a most unusual thing, yes? As an Eltorian that is living among humans, it is a great pleasure to Althaar to be meeting you, Inspector.
Likewise.
It is unfortunate that the Inspector did not encounter Althaar earlier in this cycle. Althaar was making the disguise, which is different from lying in a way that Althaar does not fully comprehend. But the box of disguise would have prevented the distress of the Inspector. Althaar must make apology for the distress. Althaar would like to pay for the laundering of the sash of inspection.
That's quite all right. Seen Althaar. It's really on me. Apart from what's on the floor.
Althaar, as long as you're here, I have a question for you. What's your roommate John up to right now? Do you think he might be free to do us a favor?
Oh, Althaar is certain that friend John would be most pleased to do the favor for Commander Torianna. Friend John is the most generous of humans. But friend John has commenced his work cycle, so it is Mr. Fornace that the commander must be asking.
Right. Amber, open me a line to WSS, please. Oh! By Jones's stripy tum!
What do you mean I want to hold your hand is offensive? It doesn't mean you have to have hands. It's just talking about this one particular person who wants to hold another particular person's... No, it's not! Humans hadn't even made it off Earth yet when this was... Okay, but they didn't know about Amelia Earhart back then.
Well, you know, when they stopped my squad from busting the same PVJ toms over and over, it changed me. Inside. I started to feel their plight, you know? Their plight. My heart started to go soft a little. So I got myself a bigger gun. That worked. I felt better right away. Of course I don't have ammo. My salary? Ha! That's not the point. It's just having it. Exactly. It's like with these PBJs. You have to feel the, well, not empathy. It's, I'm busting them, yeah. But what I'm saying is, it's a social ritual, right? And like, I'm responding to them. We're responding to each other, like secretly, you know? There's like a vibe, an understanding. No. Of course I don't let them go. That's not. Well, see, here's the thing. They'll tell you they don't want to get clicked, but that's a load of schnaz. They didn't want it. They wouldn't get caught, right? But there they are, every time, mandibles covered in telltale abba-zabba crumbs. And there I am to shut them the jack down. So really it's a what do you call it? Symbiosis. Nah, what do you know about it?
Well, I think you're doing a wonderful job.
What the? Oh, you're that Fugo Watson. Shiza, I thought you were a plant.
I am a plant. I'm all plant. I'm probably more plant than you can handle, my boy. I am a plant through and through, down into the dirt and then down deeper. And you know what they say. Once you go green, you'll never be seen. Again, I mean, you'll never be seen again with, you know, the regular breeding partners of your own. Not like you'll disappear, more than you'll be so satisfied that you know what, never mind.
Yeah, I don't, whatever this is, I don't.
You're human, aren't you? I was just trying to get on your level, you know, try to blend in with the locals a little bit, but forget it. I don't know why I bother sometimes. But there is something I think I should warn you about because, you know, I have the greatest respect for security. Yes, you people are terribly important. I don't care what anyone says. And here you are, right on the front lines, and they haven't even told you, poor dear. I mean, this could be your last cycle doing that breathing thing with those adorable little face holes of yours.
Face holes? Last cycle? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the inspector. You see, dearie, I happen to know there's an inspector on the station, a secret ICSB inspector. And, well, when an inspector goes into castigation mode, taking out security is their very first priority. To ensure there's no resistance, you know. There's never any official records, of course. An inspector knows better than to leave survivors. But I hear things, oh yes. And when a station goes dark without warning, or you've got a sudden cloud of asteroids where a planet used to be, well, that's how you know an inspector's been at work. Oh, those poor people. Colloidal damage, you know. Oh, not colloidal. Collateral damage. Terrible.
An inspector? They just look at things and write up citations and fine people. They're not dangerous. They're a bunch of wusses. They don't even carry neurodampers.
Why carry a neurodamper when you've got access to destructive powers, the likes of which most beings can't even begin to conceive? Anyway, I just wanted to let you know. Thought it might help. Well, I'll be off. You take care of yourself now, and keep a sharp eye out. Remember, these inspectors are trained to act friendly right up until the moment they're ready to strike. Taking the first shot is the only way to be sure.
Sure what? You got that right, buddy. Hey, where'd she go?
Yo, D, we got another one. That Zood in the banquet says no soap to happy birthday. Says her planet's orbital period is 1,447 Earth years, so there's only one member of her species who's lived long enough to have a birthday. Says the song's, a crushing reminder of the monstrous injustice of the universe. Which is crazy because she's wearing a really mountainous hat, so she's gotta be doing Hey! Whoa, D, put down that milkshake, Palomino! You get everything sticky! Come on!
A very busy day up here, you know. And now you want me to take on our full workload by myself just so John can babysit some VIP? You've got an entire crew to order around. How come the two of us at WSS always end up on the hook for this stuff?
I take your point, HF, but the individual in question specifically wants someone who isn't on the crew. So, to anticipate your next objection, no, this won't cause you any trouble with the robot union. It's just a simple favor. Well, as simple as anything gets on this scrap heap. If it would help sweeten the deal, I can arrange to reassign 50 credits out of the Unpopular Art Form Sustainment Fund for John's services. Plus a 10% finder's fee for yourself?
20%.
Done. I'm authorizing it now. Before you go, HF, can I ask a question? Is there anything we can do about the recent ubiquity of your corporate jingle? Preferably before we all go insane?
Driving us twisty as well, Commander. Obviously, there's no official method for shutting it down in the corporate manual. But if I come up with a workaround, I'll let you know. I mean, another workaround besides...
It really plays every single time you say WSS.
Besides just not saying it.
I hear another one outside. That must be John B. arriving. Thanks for your help, HF. And please do let me know right away if you manage to disable that feature. Okay? Bridge out.
Hi, everyone. Oh. I can see from the mess Althaar has been up here. The pager didn't work, huh? We thought maybe if you used a spare WSS page-o-matic, it might work as a kind of early warning system.
So he's walking around screaming WS... you know what, instead of walking around screaming, Althaar is entering the wherever. That seems like a lateral move at best.
Yeah, I don't know. He likes the jingle, at least. Probably the only sentient left on board who can still stand the sound of it. Anyway, what was it you needed from me?
Oh, yes. John B., this is Inspector Potato.
A pleasure, John B. Interesting name. Is that Minoan?
Mr. B., the inspector has requested a civilian escort and guide while he's here on the Fairgrounds. He needs someone who's familiar with the layout of the entire station, including the downshifted sectors, so naturally I thought of you. I worked it out with HF. You'll be officially listed off-duty in the in your employer's system for as long as this takes.
Okay, I guess I can do that. Where do you want to start?
Yes, I think we should begin in Cuff Sector Floor 12. I want to find out why cracked corn is being routed.
I'm afraid Cuff 12 is locked down for repairs, Inspector.
Really? I didn't see any notifications of that in the maintenance system.
And quarantined for Vidorian flux.
I don't have a reticulum, Commander, and in any case, I'm fully vaccinated.
Oh, Cuff 12. My mistake. It's actually been vented to vacuum.
Well, the life support computers don't seem to think so.
It's on fire!
On fire? You don't say. Well, I suppose that'll make for a few particularly exciting rounds in the cockfighting ring that those Kachillabonts have got going on up there in the disused molasses reservoir.
It's the sport of kings!
Attention, mes chéris. For those of you using auto-translators, please add chérie as an exception, as a separate entry from cherries. It's French. I'll wait. No, I won't wait. You'll have to catch up. Attention, mes chéris. Life in the fairgrounds can be drab. Don't fall into the drab bag trap. For a quick solution to any fashion quandary, we recommend the all-purpose no-drab so-fab go-grab a sharp harp adaptive drape. Sharp harps are voice-controlled, peep-weave, light-sensitive fabric throws that add vibrant color at your command. Don't fade into the scenery. Stand out in an outstanding visual treat. Or toggle the optional Hide Me mode to blend in with your favorite hiding spot, in case you know you need to conceal yourself from an inspector or quelque chose comme ça.
A door functional and entryway free of obstructions. Full marks for that. Oh, shame about the merchandise, though. Now, what is this supposed to be? A day classy chrono stud. In a discount pod like this? I don't think so. Excuse me? Hello?
Yes. Oh, the day classy. You spotted that right away. Fine eye for quality. And how about you, sir? What kind of chronometer can I set you up with today?
Oh, nothing for me, thanks. I just use the clock on my phone like a normal person. And my work pager tells time too, so yeah, I'm good.
Wow, that's an antique. If you've got to wear that thing, I could probably at least get you a mod skin for it. Oh, wait, is that a WSS internal? Yes, I guess it is. Not much I could do for you then. How about you, sir? Can I wrap up that day classy for you?
Well, no, actually you can't, because this is not a day classy.
Sure it is. Says right there. And look at the craftsmanship on the...
I know the brand. They shut down production of chrono studs several standards back.
They're a leader in chrono studs, and it's... Well, this is an old shipment, of course. By the time goods get all the way out here, they're collectible, too. They only appreciate in value, and it's made under license. We don't get the Turonian ones, obviously, at this price.
Obviously, at that price, Day Classy doesn't issue make licenses. If it's not Turonian, it's not Day Classy. And I'm an ICSB inspector.
You don't mean I've been hassled?
These are either pirate goods or jacked goods. Either way.
It's not what you think. I run an honest shop. They told me it was a floor sample. What am I, an expert? Someone must have tampered with it in transit. I didn't know. I got it at auction. Unclaimed shipment. But that's what it says on the manifest. It's not pirated, it's an homage.
Is that one long excuse or several small ones all run together?
Whatever works.
Wow, it smells good in here.
Welcome to Sammy's Witches, gentle beings. What can I get you?
Oh, do we have time to grab a sandwich, Inspector? I heard about this place, but it's my first time here.
Inspecting is hungry work, sure. Hello, yes. I am an ICSB inspector, as you can tell from the sash. Just ignore the stain. Yeah. Anything here I should know about, or rather, anything I shouldn't?
Hello, Inspector. Welcome. What you see is what we do. Inspect the way. I want to get disintegrated.
Sorry about that. Hazard of the trade. How is the Philly cheese steak?
That's one of our best sellers. People like it. You're people. You'll like it, right?
Well, one of those then. John, one for you. Fine. Make that 2 cheese steaks. And I'll just take a quick peek at your kitchen while we're waiting.
Suit yourself. It's right through there. 2 Philly cheesesteaks coming right up.
You know, I love a good cheesesteak. Nice and orderly back here. Well done. I've been to Philadelphia, you know. Had a couple of the originals, not enough to take sides, but enough to appreciate the treat. The thing really is the Cheese Whiz. You can't get that stuff out here, can you? Cheese Whiz is the heart of the deal, if you ask me. Real cheese just isn't the same.
Nah, you're right. They don't ship Cheese Whiz at all. That's Earth only. It's legally classified as a contaminant vector. Freight companies won't touch it. We were lucky enough to find a great local substitute, though.
Well, it's all ship-shape in the back. So, you have a secret family recipe, eh?
Well, kind of. I mean, it's not exactly the original, but here you go. See what you think. We got the flavor and consistency nailed, if I do say so myself.
Wow. This is fantastic.
This is great. This is delicious. This is, I have to say, I didn't think you'd really ace it, but this is a great sandwich.
I never thought I'd taste another one of these after I left Earth.
Whatever you got for the Cheese Whiz is just right. Holds it all together, right taste, right texture. The Cheese Whiz really makes it.
Like I say, we really lucked out on that score. Our Cheese Whiz is just about perfect. You want to meet him? Well, it, really, not him.
Meet? Well, meet whom?
Do you want to meet Chi? He lives in the back. Really, he's an it, not a he. I mean, he's not sentient or anything. But we can't help but think of him as a member of the Sammy's family.
Curly's old-fashioned fruit and non-sapient vegetable stand. This place looks safe. But I'm not eating anything else today, or possibly ever.
Chi turned out to be quite a charming little creature, though, didn't you find? And the whole process is well within code, as it happens. I suppose we could think of milk the same way, though it comes from, well, it's sourced differently.
Molto less gross.
That's a matter of perspective, I suppose. But Chi's product is entirely natural.
So are cows. I don't eat their pee.
I admit it sounds better if you call it whiz.
Not that much better.
Hi there, can I help you? Special on raspberries today. The regular ones are the regular price, but the Giantizer experimental crop is in and those are on sale. Thoroughly tested and totally safe. We only sell them whole though, no slices, sorry, but they taste great and I'm not just walking your dog.
How big are the Giantizer ones?
About 20 kilos each on average. I can do you a discount on a couple pack crusts to sweeten that deal if you're interested. Sweeten, get it?
About your bananas.
Yes, fresh from hydroponics this morning. Highly recommended.
Are they, well, how to put this? Are they bananas?
Yes. What do you mean? They're bananas.
But you call them bananas.
Because they are.
Open quote, B-A-N-A-N-A-S, close quote.
Yes.
Well, Curly, you are the eponymous Curly, yes? Good. My question is, are they in fact bananas? Or are they, quote, bananas, close quote? Because if we are calling them bananas using the quotation mark or double inverted comma structure to denote that the appellation is applied and not native, then I'd like to know what they actually are, rather than in fact being bananas.
It's for emphasis. They're very good bananas. What is your problem?
For emphasis, I see. I see SB Inspector Potato. My hollow badge.
Oh God, please don't shoot. Please, I haven't done anything.
Shoot?
I heard the announcements and those people came by. They said you were going to obliterate us all except the ones you shipped to the protein mines. I'm strong. I really am. I can work. I can work for food. Please don't kill me.
Well, don't be silly. I'm not even armed. Well, yes, I am, but not much.
I'll change the sign. I'll do it right now. Just tell me what you wanted to say. Please just tell me.
Well, this isn't nearly as much fun as I thought it would be. And I haven't even gotten to the apostrophes. All right. Get up, will you? It's just a citation. You can take care of it at any ICSB authorized payment kiosk. There's no need to be so dramatic about it. Yeesh. So, this is the Electric Egg, your local den of iniquity, I assume?
I mean, it's a bar. People come here to get drunk, or the equivalent. I don't know how much iniquity goes on. The big draw is really the music. The house band is incredible. Dee, she's the singer, she's a human. You name it, she can knock it out of the park. And her backup's this Zibidant, calls himself Xtopps, who plays, like, all the instruments. When he gets all 12 hands going at once, it's indescribable.
You don't say. Do they get a lot of Zibidants in here?
Yeah, sure. The egg's popular with all kinds of aliens. Chip's got something for just about everybody.
So they're no doubt racking up the Class F controlled substance violations. Good to know.
Hey, you the inspector?
That I am, and you are?
I'm Vert. I'm on the list, and I'm getting near the top. The boss says maybe this month I'll finally get to audition. Oh, and he wants you to meet him at the bar.
All right, Vert. Let's meet the boss at the bar.
Okay, never mind that. Let's move on. Oh, here's one you can't possibly object to. Take a look at the lyrics.
That word's poetic. I'm so pathetic that I have always found it best.
Yeah, that's just the intro. They're saying they don't know what to say, and then there's the verses where they say all this stuff about how great the person they're singing to is. It's a love song, get it? But the whole thing's basically just a long list of names and places and people and things that pre-contact Earth folks used to think were great, like 600 years ago. So none of it could possibly mean anything to any non-humans, right? So there's no way it can be offensive, yeah?
Sublime was a band, I know that. Wait, who's this one?
Cellophane. Wasn't she that Barovian warlord who conquered Plendis back in the century of the Sand Otter?
My father's third clutch bearer was from Plendis. Shame! Shame and castigation!
But that's not... Oh, check it. Moving on. How about Night and Day?
Yeah... no. My planet's tidally locked.
Inspector! Welcome to the Electric Egg. Chip Frinkel, owner and proprietor at your service. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to stop you before you get too far into your inspectations.
Stop me? On what grounds? I have full ICSB authorization. All persons and facilities belonging to member states fall within my purview. Well, there are a few treaty exceptions, of course, but those would hardly apply to a bar and multicultural eatery now, would they?
Au contraire, mon cher autoritaire. As you can see from this parchment, the Electric Egg is officially the governing seat of the Greater Baronetcy of Candifa, and is thereby a sovereign protected zone of the Zibidon Imperium. The Baronet has requested that you limit yourself strictly to the public area.
Oh, has he indeed?
Yes, through me, that is, as his factotum. Anyway, everything that isn't out in the open must be assumed to pertain to the honor and security of his well-learned radiant splendor, and shall therefore be considered immune from extra imperial scrutiny, apart from the restrooms, which are for customers only. But hey, have a drink on me. Nothing from the aquarium, though, let's be real. That stuff doesn't grow on coral. Doesn't grow on coral.
Actually, most of it does, boss.
You tell him, sister.
Wait. Sopon?
Yeah? Well, thing me and a thing and thing me thingy. Dick? Dick Benny? You're the inspector?
Sopon, you know this guy?
Sure, we used to work together 3 former Tristles back. He did door by the entry pads at a place I managed in the Buttress Resorts. Nice joint. A Lagrange Point fixed club over a water planet. Incredible free diving if you could afford the insurance. All the way down from orbit.
Hey, remember this. Say it, Sopon, for old time's sake.
Don't know what you mean, Dick.
Come on, say it.
Of all the gin joints and all the stations and all the systems in the galaxy, you walk into mine.
Achievement unlocked!
I don't get it.
Man, Xtopps is right about you, Chip. It's a sad thing to see a Zood so ignorant of his own culture. Anyway, Dick, you owe me dinner. Or do I owe you?
I won't have time on this trip, I'm afraid. I'm just passing through. But next time.
Is this guy bothering you, boss?
Vert! For the last time, you don't have to call me boss. You don't work here.
Yes. What exactly is his function? I kind of hate him.
Yeah, he's just Vert. He does that to people. Vert, you're running out of road, okay? Just go and be elsewhere, please.
Okay.
Actually, Vert, I'd like you to stay right there. I think I should have you taken in for questioning. An inspector can't be too careful. Fairgrounds security, Inspector Potato here. I'll be needing to requisition an interrogation suite. The subject is a patron here at the Electric Egg. Humanoid, approximately 1.1 meters in height, mass unknown. Answers to Vert. Arrange a pickup right away, please.
But I'm next. I'm next on the list. It's my turn.
Wait, what was that? Was that you? Did you just make that noise?
What noise?
That womp womp noise.
Well, I don't see anyone here from the Womp Womp system. You must have imagined it.
Warning. Decommissioned area. This door is currently locked as this sector may or may not support life at this time. Please find an alternate route to your destination.
And this code should take care of that.
What are we looking for down here exactly? Most of Shin's been closed off for years, although, well, I guess they've got life support running on this floor since we're not sucking vacuum right now.
Well, the truth is, John, that I haven't exactly told you the truth.
Oh. Okay.
You don't find that upsetting?
I mean, most people don't think I'm important enough to lie to, so it's kind of flattering, to be honest.
Well, that's very sad. Anyway, I'm not just here as an inspector, although the inspections have been going rather well, I think.
Yeah, you've given out a lot of citations.
A smidge over 160,000 at last count. The setback at the electric egg has put me slightly behind quota. Unfortunately, I had them pegged for 14,851 at a rough estimate. But with that whole Imperial exemption business, I only managed to actually log about 100. Remind me, on the way back to the bridge, I'll need to make a longer stop at Poppy's Kachilabont Luncheonette. They should be good for a few K at least.
What, 14,000? Just at the egg?
It's a bar and a music venue, my friend, catering to patrons from all over the galaxy. Generally speaking, the odds of committing a code violation increase by an order of magnitude every time you get any cross-species contact. With so many commingling all at once, you're pretty much guaranteed to get the ICSB barking down your snorkel, which is pretty ironic considering that the entire point of the ICSB is supposed to be fostering harmony among its members. But that's interstellar bureaucracy for you. In any case, the routine inspection isn't the primary purpose of my visit. Some months ago, the Office of Equilibrium detected an unusual new kind of transmission emanating from this station. Those transmissions are being made with an unknown but very advanced supraluminal technology, and are both extremely dense and curiously intermittent. Most disturbingly, we've been completely unable to trace their destination, and this has raised some obvious concerns at the OE. Go ahead.
This is System. Agent, you are approaching a densely probable area of event potential.
Okay,
I have
know I'm not imagining
available
that.
traffic logs and am not able to identify a target. Be advised that observation and tracking points are quite limited in this sector.
Thank you, System. Update as possible. Proceeding to event site.
Is that... You've got a captive AI? That's like 1,700 kinds of illegal.
Well, for you it is. My position exempts me from local regulation on these matters. Just one of the many perks that come with my work for the office. Speaking of which, what I'm looking for out here is anything unusual that might fill in the gaps in what we know so far. And what we know so far is mostly gaps. So please keep an eye out. I'd like to go past these suites here, all the way to the outer wall to see if there's anything to be seen over there.
You do know about the vent biters, right? If you're gonna be, like, blasting through the interior partitions, you should definitely make sure not to hit any of the ductwork. I don't think sanitation gets out here very often.
Aha! Well, I thought we might just go down this way, turn left, follow the hole, and open the door on the right-hand side at the end. This map would seem to indicate that's the easiest path. But I'm open to other suggestions. Where do you people get your ideas?
Oh, right. That makes sense. I guess I just assumed... I keep hearing about all these scary things inspectors do when they're activated, so...
Activated?
You know, triggered into flaming fascist death mode. People have been saying that you'll blast us all into smithereens, or like, de-introduce our grandparents or something if you don't like what you see here.
That's, crazy talk, John.
Yeah, I guess it does sound pretty silly when you say it out loud like that. Okay. I think if we go through this door, that should get us near the hull. Oh, right. The doors are offline. Crap. You wouldn't have, like, a super secret agent winch hidden in your hat or something, would you?
That's not a thing. Sorry.
Worth a shot. Okay, just give me a minute to engage the manual controls. Wow.
What a lovely view. This was an observation court and meditation zone, according to the original schematics. Shame the windows are so dingy. Don't the maintenance crews tend to that?
The robots don't do windows. It's actually our job at it's our job. But obviously no one's been down here to call on any maintenance requests, so...
There's not much here to help us out, alas.
What's that over there?
Trash, looks like. Beat-up can and some wire.
Yeah, but why would it be here? Wait, look. This wire is fastened to the central pane of this big window, fastened on with a, it looks like a bulb of data cement? The cable, this is a progressive circuit filament. Yep, it's still under power. It's pretty new. They go dead in a year or so without a power source, and it's epoxied onto this can, which does look like trash. Supergrow, now with extra improved Vim. Wonder what that is. Doesn't smell like much, just trash. Hey, wait a minute.
What is it?
This circuit filament. It's exactly what should be in the regulator conduit that controls the biometric sensors in that wonky admin office off customs. No wonder the robots couldn't get it working. I thought they were just being dicks about it. Or, I guess, vibrators.
If you say so. System, are you watching?
This is System. I am recording and referencing.
All I'm seeing here is a tin can on a string. Not the sort of hot sight that we'd hoped.
Agent, the powered cable discovered here could be used to convey an audio signal to the observation window for natural amplification along the surface of the safety vane. However, the signal could not be boosted beyond this deck without an acoustic data net deployed down the hall, and such a net would be detected as soon as it became operational, if not before.
System, I don't think this is or was an active data launch site. It strikes me as a feint. Could someone be drawing us off and wasting resources? Tin can and a string, it feels like a taunt.
I concur.
See what you can line up for transit off station. I'll make another ticketing loop and then return to the bridge. John, just take that cable to the robots. They'll give you grief about it, I'm sure, but I'll send a note to WSS about your initiative. Rabbit! I had just about forgotten about that thing.
Lulu, oh, whoa, whoa, awake, system awake, computer on, system activate.
I'm a very important agent with the ICSB.
Typical. I've got a comprehensive state-of-the-art surveillance apparatus sitting right here on my own bridge and no way to access it.
Commander, the inspector says he'll be returning here momentarily.
Thank you, Amber. And, if he asks, I definitely wasn't messing around in the diplomatic chamber in his absence, capiche?
I have returned for the long drive, partners. I'll ride point, swing, or even drag if you'll have me. My shooting iron is as steady as my rope hand, and as long as y'all keep the victuals and six-shooter skink fresh and hot and a-flowing, I'll wrangle them to the end of the trail. Giddy up, little doggies.
The lone hat rides again. Wait, what?
There's what is that? Is it part of them?
Commander, is Lieutenant Energy being wearing mustache?
That feels real inappropriate somehow. Can you make it stop?
This is unexpected, Lieutenant, not to mention inexplicable. It looks nice.
Thank you, Commander. The trickiest bit was getting the hairs to grow uniformly without the benefit of follicles or, indeed, skin. Note the constancy of color throughout the contours.
Is it real?
Of course, sir. The mustache is fully concrete and entirely corporeal. It would have been the work of a nanosecond to create an illusory cookie duster, of course, but that would somewhat defeat the purpose.
Taken together with the Stetson, you have crafted something iconic.
And yet you still knew it was me. Curious.
It was the hat. The hat gave you away. With that mustache, for a second, I really wasn't sure. But the Stetson just screamed, "Frawl!" Otherwise, I might have had to call security to escort this unknown hirsute interloper off my bridge.
Good afternoon, Commander. Permission to enter the bridge.
You don't need my permission for that, Inspector.
Well, I don't need anyone's permission for anything, really, but I find people like to be asked. I just wanted to stop by on my way out and thank all of you for your invaluable assistance. I have only a few moments, I'm afraid. System has put me on a black freighter running radio silent and... I shouldn't really mention that here, should I? Just pretend you didn't hear that. I'm on a tight schedule.
A black freighter running dark? Amber, do a full 360 scan and find me that vessel.
Please. Happens all the time. They're hooked into, well, that would be telling. They won't interfere with your operations. There's nothing to worry about.
Sir, I'm not seeing any unregistered freighters.
Well, yes, that is the point of being a black freighter. You see, anyway, must fly.
May I congratulate you on your successful visit, Inspector? 182,557 citations issued. You must be very pleased.
Oh, was it? Why, no, Lieutenant, I'm afraid you're just a titch off. My records only show 182,556. Ha! Oh, how could I forget? Comrade StalinBot, yes. I came in on the totally legit, if you'll recall, so I was able to observe your singular approach to docking safety procedures firsthand. Here you go.
So, Inspector, you'd say your mission here has been a success?
Yes, Commander, thank you for asking. Although that person I'd been hoping to meet seems not to have been here after all. But we can't have everything, can we?
Do you think they've left, then?
You know, I'm not sure they were ever here at all. I may have been misinformed.
I see. Well, I suppose that's for the best. If they should turn up, is there some way I can get in touch with you? Some system I can use?
I'm sure there's nothing to worry about, Commander. If they were here, I very much doubt that they could have escaped my highly trained scrutiny. But don't worry, if you really need a, contact system, well, the system will contact you. Now, it truly has been a pleasure, but I really must fly. Forgive me for this overt display of unlisted technology, but rank does have its privileges now, and I do really need to catch this boat!
So that's a jetpack.
Oh, it's beautiful.
You've been listening to Life with Althaar, Episode 10. This episode was written by Linus Gelber for Gemini Collision Works and starred Ivanna Cullinan as Commander Torianna, Zuri Washington as D, Berit Johnson as Althaar, Eli Ganias as HF, Chris Lee as Chip Frinkel, Derrick Peterson as Xtopps, Amanda Pergola as Mrs. Frondrinax, John Amir as John B, and Alyssa Simon as Lieutenant Commander Frall. And also featured Linus Gelber, Olivia Baseman, Ian W. Hill, Philip Cruz, David Arthur Backrack, Holly Pocket McCaffrey, Anna Stefanik, Lex Friedman, Leela Okafor, and Jessica Stoya. Life with Althaar was created by Berit Johnson and Ian W. Hill. Berit is the supervising producer, showrunner, and script supervisor. Ian is the audio producer, sound designer, and technical supervisor. The writer's room consists of Berit, Ian, John, Amanda, Chris, Philip, Lex, and Linus. Theme and interstitial music composed and performed by Anna Stefanik. Life with Althaar logo and illustration by Dean Haspiel. Library music and sound effects licensed from Storyblocks. The entire production is copyright 2019 Gemini Collision Works. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another Tale from the Fairgrounds. But until then, who's this approaching that mysterious pile of flotsam in the Shin 23 Meditation and Observance Solarium?
Oh, dearie me. What a tangle this is. I just better shut this down in case that silly inspector comes back. Pity I couldn't get that riot started. Then I could have torn him to bits and put all the blame on those wretched, rootless, hairy beasts. They panic so easily, no one would have questioned it. But all's well that blooms in the end, and I've still got 83 more covert transmission sites to be getting on with. Now, if only I could pry that ill Torian away from his stupid roommate, everything would be in place for the next phase of operation. Ascendant Harvest.